Imagine say you dey baff person dey peep you. How you go feel if you dey baff person dey peep you? El-Rufai no do anything now. Why Nigeria government after him? Why is Nigeria government always attacking this man? Why? No forget, El-Rufai don first write to national security adviser. E get this salt wey e talk say government wan import. E call am thallium sulfate. This salt na very dangerous salt, very poisonous because it's odorless, colorless. Salt wey be say if you take, you just dey die small small, you no go know. Some people wey hate their husband, all those kind things, go just dey use that kind salt. The husband go dey take am, you go just dey put am small small before you know the man don go or something like that. Say some country dey use that salt dey comot their political opponent, just buy them once. You no understand? No be there problem dey for El-Rufai. No be there. Now when the man come open mouth talk say him dey lis ten to government, you get one device wey you get wey you take dey lis ten to government, na there enter problem. You understand? Now Ibrahim Sanusi dey try let us know say Tinubu must release El-Rufai. Say the man ear, eye dey pain am, they need to treat him. So this man dey try let us know say Tinubu must release El-Rufai. Say if they no release El-Rufai, the country must burn. Just like wetin dey do for Goodluck Ebele Jonathan time. Okay, so if Tinubu no release El-Rufai, wetin go happen? Wetin dey vex me for where dis Fulani people dey na their hypocrisy. During Buhari time, court give order make they release Nnamdi Kanu. The man do strong, Buhari do strong, he no gree. Even to obey court order, he no obey. Una never see anything. Una never see anything. May we watch the video. Wetin you think? Drop am for comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
But I want to assure every Nigerian that if we continue to allow these kind of things to happen in Nigeria, 2027 might be our last attempt to try having election. Because if we don't fight APC, if we don't fight the evil in it, both the ones in human being forms and in their action, we are going to be worse than the military rules that we are celebrating. We are having democracy now. So I would like to call our northern brothers, especially those from Kaduna, we must rise up, we must resist Obasani's attempt to make Kaduna a one-party system. And arresting of Malam Nasir El-Rufai will not stop us from our plans and our mission of sending this government back to where they belong. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Lagos, while Obasani might also follow him as well. International press conference on the continued detention of Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai and the alleged plot to poison him. For over 100 days, he has been held in detention under conditions that many legal minds consider punitive rather than protective of the judicial process. He returned to Nigeria from abroad to honor this particular invitation. Yet, despite court orders granting him bail, he remained in custody of ICPC and sometimes in DSS. What makes this situation even more disturbing, as the recent public allegation by a political commentator, Timmy Frank, who stated that there is a plot within the securities cycle to poison Malam Nasir and release him in conditions that could lead to his death outside custody. They speak to the possibility of state-sponsored harm against a citizen who has not been convicted of any crime. We are deeply troubled by declaring double standard in the application of justice in Nigeria today. While Malam Nasir El-Rufai and several of his former associates are being subjected to prolonged detention and unrealistic bail conditions, other individuals facing far more serious allegations appear to enjoy relative freedom and even political reward. For instance, the former Kogi governor Yahaya Bello, who is facing allegations involving over 80 billion and resisted arrest by the EFCC in a dramatic manner, was eventually granted bail under conditions that allow him reasonable freedom. Similarly, former Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, who faced serious allegations bordering on the mismanagement of trillions in his state, has found political accommodation and positioning himself within the ruling APC. Former Imo State Governor Rochas Okorochas, who had multiple cases involving billions of naira, continued his political activities with relative ease. His allies and family members have also benefited from political appointment under the current administration. Malam Nasir El-Rufai is not just a former governor or a minister. He is a husband, a father, a grandfather. His continuous absence from his family, his inability to receive proper medical attention when needed, and the restriction placed on his access to loved ones and legal counsel are causing deep pain not only to his immediate family, but to millions of Nigeria who see him as a leader. When a government used the instrument of the state to keep opposition figures in detention, while shielding or accommodating others with heavier allegation. It sends a chilling message. It tells the North that its leaders can be targeted while others are protected. In light of the above, we make the following demand to the federal government, which is led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the Kaduna State government, which is led by His Excellency Senator Malam Obasani. Immediate and transparent investigation. The federal government must immediately investigate the serious allegation made by Timi Frank regarding a plot to poison Malam Nasir El-Rufai. This investigation must be independent, thorough, and its finding must be made public. The second demand is review of bail condition. The court should urgently review the current bail condition imposed on Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai and grant him reasonable bail in accordance with the law. Our third demand, the federal government must guarantee Malam Nasir El-Rufai's safety, while our fourth demand is end to selective persecution. The federal government and relevant agencies must stop targeted harassment and prosecution of opposition figures, particularly those coming from Arewa region. Our fifth demand, respect for court orders. All court orders granting access to medical care, family and legal counsel must be respected without further hindrance or excuse. And the bail condition is not something that someone can attain, which is unrealistic. Which emir from Kaduna, with the kind of tyranny Obasani is unleashing on us, will agree to do a shorty on Malam? It is not possible. Which civil servant, based on our wages in Nigeria, which civil servant will own a house in Asokoro? Minimum of amount you can get house in Asokoro is close to 300 million upward. If you calculate our civil service wages, how much our PAMSEC living office with, even those in federal government. So those bail conditions are planned so that Malam Nasir El-Rufai will not meet them. And believe me, we are law-abiding and we are talking softly now because we are Nigerians. Someone like me, I have nothing to fear, and I fear nobody except my Creator. But wallahi, by Allah, if they continue doing this to Malam Nasir El-Rufai and other leaders, we will speak and we will take action, and our actions are going to be loud. They think I'm joking, but we are looking into that. We'll be after this press statement. We'll wait for them and see whether they are going to get back to their senses or we have to go back to the comradeship era.
First and foremost, the allegation came out from one of the famous, let me say, stalwarts of the APC itself, which is the ruling party. Now, Malam Nasir is a member of ADC, as we all know. Now, assuming it was somebody from ADC that made that allegation, it would look as if it's a party or politics rather. Yes. But it came from a member of the ruling party, right? An ex-official of that same party, Timi Frank. Now, thank God, Timi made it with all emphasis. In fact, it was a press release, which I believe some of the press men here must have interrogated that same allegation from Timi. So what we are saying is we are amplifying what such a prominent member of APC could say, could tell the world, to please, let us escalate this, if possible, and we demand, with empathy, vehemently, that please, there should be an investigation in that particular claims, so that it is the right of this individual who has been denied access. Now, to answer your question, if anybody from his family, yes, like the question asked, which my fellow comrade here was also responded to, one of the wives of Malam made it categorically clear she was denied access to this man to give him food and drugs. In fact, she sat with his doctor for 3 hours. Now, the doctor could not access this, not until that woman raised the alarm that this is it. Some of you press members actually rushed to the scene. It is very clear that Malam is going through some health challenges which has to do with ears and his eyes. Now, there has been some back and forth to the hospitals. Now, how do we tell that this same illness is not even symptoms of poison? In the first place, that building, how safety is that building? How long do they intend to keep it under that building? So if we had before now, the same individual raised alarm that poisonous content, substance rather, was imported into the country. And he wrote a letter demanding the accountability of such supplies. And nobody said anything. And today, the same individual is under detention and is having eye problem, an ear problem, and he has been denied. So, under democracy, not military dictatorship leadership, you want us to all assume that all is well with this. No. Nigerians deserve better. Malam Nasir El-Rufai is somebody that should be allowed to go home on self-recognition. No matter the case. After all, it's not about murder. It's not about what? Maybe plots. Coup plot, sorry. So on that ground, for God's sake, why is Malam being turned into political instrument by the so-called governor in Kaduna, Malam Obasani? This is somebody that wrote on the back of this same individual.